Do you want to explosively obliterate everything in front of you with a single slam? Do you want to become nigh unkillable as you charge forward into combat, fueled by the healing powers of your cleansing inferno? What is going on, Guardians? Dorvrich here, and in this video I will be showcasing an extremely aggressive endgame Sunbreaker build that will turn you into a nearly invincible force of nature, thanks to a recent stealth buff that was not mentioned in the patch notes. In the background you're seeing a mixture of Solo Master Nightfall and Lost Sector gameplay, and it doesn't matter that we're 10 power under level, nothing survives our Slam of Judgment. Even champions are either put into finisher range or blown up instantly. And on top of that, just look at how hard we are to kill. Loreley Splendor's recent nerf had a lot of players wondering what the next best thing is, but I can promise you that once you taste the power that this build has to offer, you won't even care about the old Loreley anymore. Now let's dive into the build explanation. We're building around Sunbreaker's melee override aspect, Consecration. This two-part uppercut and slam attack is the center of our gameplay loop, and the whole build is designed to make this hit as hard as possible and allow us to use it over and over. The wind-up will scorch everything in front of us, and the slam will send out a wave that ignites everything we hit that has the Scorch debuff. The other aspect we're using, Sol Invictus, is central to our survivability. Sol Invictus causes every Scorched and ability kill to make a sunspot that gives us both a massive heal over time through the restoration buff, and extra fast energy regeneration, in addition to burning any enemies that are dumb enough to step inside, of course. Since we're killing so many things with abilities, these sunspots will be all over the place, keeping us alive and giving us our melee back faster. We could get even more damage with the Roaring Flames aspect, but that would tank our survivability in endgame content, and in anything short of endgame the extra damage is completely overkill, so we're on Sol Invictus instead. Even though we're on a melee override aspect, the base melee ability, Throwing Hammer, is important, and I will get into exactly why in a little bit. Grenades are up to preference, but I like Healing Grenade as a nice panic button. For Fragments, the core consists of Ember of Eruption and Searing. Eruption makes our ignitions bigger, which is essential when we're building around Consecration. Searing gives us a good chunk of our melee back when we use Consecration, since everything that we blow up with the slam will get scorched by the uppercut immediately beforehand. The other two slots are flex. I'm using Ember of Solace so that I don't have to touch a sunspot as often to keep restoration up, and Ember of Blistering to get my grenade back faster. Other strong options for the flex slots include Ember of Empyrean, as another way to make restoration last longer, Torches to constantly damage buff your allies for team play, Wonder to generate orbs, and the Char plus Ashes combo to trigger ignition chains against exceptionally tanky groups, such as Grandmaster champions. For the super, we're on Hammer of Soul. Neither super honestly adds much to this build, but I will take the ranged option when given the choice. The insane sunspot generation without necessarily having to kill anything is a definite plus over Burning Maul, but for the most part I only pop super with this build when I have to go for a really dangerous revive and need the armor. Now for the two things that push this build from strong to broken, Syntheseps and the heavy-handed armor mod. Syntheseps are perfect for this build, since we're always looking to play aggressively and group enemies up for a massive Consecration. Syntheseps rewards us for doing exactly what we want to. The Syntheseps damage buff does affect the ignition from Consecration, which is how you get the insane damage that one-shots just about everything. The heavy-handed mod is the stealth buff that I referred to in the intro. Prior to the recent patch, heavy-handed did not work with any of the melee override abilities, so chaining Consecration required too much investment to be worth it. But now, heavy-handed will refund half of our melee energy when we use it, allowing us to chain uppercuts and slams until everything is dead. As for the rest of our armor mods, we're on a hybrid Charged with Light and Elemental Well package. We're using Melee Wellmaker to make solar wells every time we kill with either Consecration or our hammer. Well of Life will give us a 10-second heal over time that stacks with Restoration, for a total of 63 HP or about a third of our health healed per second. We're also running Bountiful Wells to generate 2 Solar Wells per kill for additional ability energy. Elemental Charge turns each of our Solar Wells into 2 stacks of Charged with Light, which feeds into our Charged with Light payoff mod, Heavy Handed. So now we're getting melee energy from Ember of Searing, faster ability regen in general from Sol Invictus, chunks of ability energy from each Solar Well that we pick up, and a 50% refund from Heavy Handed. Between all of that, we will rarely be caught without Consecration unless we mess up. And this is precisely why we're using Throwing Hammer. It allows us to begin the loop without having to expend our melee energy and wait for it to come back. You'll want to start every combat by killing something with the hammer and picking up the resulting Solar Wells. This will prime the gameplay loop, and from there you can start consecrating to your heart's content. We have insurance for messing up the loop too in the form of 1-2 finisher. If we whiff Consecration or throw our hammer off a cliff, or really anything goes wrong that leaves us without melee energy, all we have to do is finisher something, and we'll get it fully back in exchange for 1/6 of our super. Since our super doesn't really fit into the gameplay loop, this cost is inconsequential. We also have Outreach for smaller mistakes that leave us just a little bit short of our melee ability. As for stats, 100 Resilience is the first priority. 40% damage reduction at 100 Resilience is huge for any endgame build, especially one that's this aggressive. You'll want to combine this with appropriate resist mods on the chest piece. I always match the burn for Nightfalls and Lost Sectors, and for anything else, I just go with one of each element for the most well-rounded resistances. Strength is the second priority to help ensure we get our melee energy back quickly, followed by Discipline because none of the other stats really do anything for us. And there you have it, a Sunbreaker build that will have you explosively deleting everything in front of you, while being extremely hard to kill. The old Loreley Splendor was really good, but now that it's toned down a bit, I'm hoping for people to become aware of more of the strong playstyles Sunbreaker has to offer. The subclass is capable of a lot, and I will be doing more Solar Titan builds in the future. I hope you all enjoyed the build and breakdown. Drop a like if you found this video helpful or entertaining, and if you want to see more endgame oriented builds like this one, consider subscribing to the channel. You can also find all of my builds in a playlist, which I'll link in the description. You can find a dim link to the build in the description as well, along with a consolidated image of the build at the end of the video. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments. I'll do my best to answer every question that comes my way. As usual, I'll leave you now with some legendary campaign gameplay, so you can see how this build performs in a more chilled out setting. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one, Guardians.